Casinos spend millions designing their gaming floors to control what you see, where you walk, and, most importantly, what you play. The brightest machines are placed up front. The loudest bonus screens are positioned where crowds naturally gather. And the loosest slots, the ones that actually give players decent odds, are quietly pushed into the shadows. Most people never notice this, but former casino employees do. Over the years, technicians, floor managers, and surveillance staff have leaked information about a very specific list of slot machines that casinos wish you would never discover. Not because these machines malfunction, not because they cause problems, but because their mathematics, player behavior, and payout structure consistently work against the casino's ideal profit model. And here's the part casinos definitely don't want broadcast on YouTube. These machines are in almost every major casino in the country. You've probably walked past them dozens of times without knowing what they were. Today, you're going to learn the exact names of the 9 machines casinos hate. You'll hear real stories from former employees explaining how these slots slipped through management's control, why they outperform projections, and how casinos quietly try to hide or manipulate them without drawing attention. By the time we reach the final machine, you'll understand something casino executives never wanted players to figure out. The loosest slot machines aren't a myth. They exist. They just aren't where casinos want you looking. So let's begin with machine number 1, the slot that kicked off more internal arguments, more behind-the-scenes complaints, and more, how do we get rid of this thing without causing a scene? Meetings than almost any other. Slot number 1, Triple Diamond. If there's one old-school machine that casinos secretly wish players would forget, it's Triple Diamond. At first glance, it looks almost too simple. 3 reels, a chrome frame, no animations, no bonus wheels. But that simplicity hides a mathematical consistency that casinos have struggled with for years. Triple Diamond is straightforward. No gimmicks, no clutter, just clean slot math. And that clarity is exactly why experienced players gravitate toward it. They can immediately read what's happening, track patterns, and stretch their bankroll far longer than casinos prefer. The famous wild multipliers, especially the combos that turn a modest line win into a 9 by payout, hit just enough to keep players engaged and machines too alive for management's liking. But the real surprise isn't its payout structure, it's the culture that formed around it. A former floor supervisor from Reno described a strange pattern she noticed only after months of observation. Local regulars had created a silent, unofficial rotation system around the Triple Diamond machines. They'd play in shifts, hold seats for one another with jackets or drinks, and respect each other's turns without ever discussing it openly. It wasn't teamwork or cheating, it was mutual understanding. They all knew these machines were worth protecting. Tourists didn't understand why they never got a turn. Eventually, management did. Executives tried moving the machines to break the routine. It didn't work. The group simply adapted and followed them. The real conflict came during a major renovation when the casino removed all Triple Diamond units entirely, hoping players would migrate to more profitable modern slots. Instead, the opposite happened. The loyal regulars left the property altogether, not angrily, but silently, and took their business to a competitor across town that still had Triple Diamond on the floor. Within 3 months, the original casino saw a measurable dip in revenue tied directly to the removal. They brought the machines back, but fewer, tucked away near the poker room. The lesson was hard but clear. Some machines earn loyalty, not just money. Remove them, and you might lose more than you save. Triple Diamond proved that a problem slot can be an unexpected asset, the kind that keeps people walking through the doors day after day. And that was only the beginning. The next machine caused chaos for a completely different reason, thanks to a cheerful little character who appeared far more often than management ever expected. Slot number 2, Mr. Cashman. Our second machine is one casinos never expected to become a problem. Mr. Cashman. At first glance, it looks like a cheerful, harmless slot with a goofy golden character who jumps out to hand players random bonuses. But according to former casino staff, that little character became one of the biggest headaches management had seen in years. The issue wasn't malfunctioning hardware or unusual payouts. The issue was frequency. Insiders revealed that the Mr. Cashman bonus trigger activates more often than similar machines from the same era. When the character pops up, he can award free games, multipliers, even progressives, and while each reward individually is modest, The overall hit rate is significantly higher than casino executives anticipated. And that's where things got strange. A former surveillance operator from Atlantic City shared a story from 2017. A group of 5 slot players who met online decided to exploit the psychology of the gaming floor, not the math of the machine. Whenever one player triggered the Mr. Cashman bonus, they would text the others, who would immediately gather around the same bank of machines. Suddenly, it looked like the whole section was hot. Multiple machines going off at once. Bonus celebrations firing across the row. Other players rushing over, abandoning tighter slots nearby. From above, the surveillance team thought it was cheating, maybe an advantage play group coordinating something illegal. After weeks of reviewing footage, they discovered the truth. The players weren't hacking anything. They were simply using the machine's natural high bonus frequency to manipulate the social environment of the casino. Management was furious, but their hands were tied. No rule was being broken. Their solution was subtle but effective. They spread Mr. Cashman machines far apart, placing them in different wings to prevent clusters from forming. Eventually, the feeding frenzy phenomenon disappeared, but the machine continued to frustrate casino operators. Internal reports flagged Mr. Cashman units as underperforming during peak hours, meaning players were winning, or at least stretching their bankroll, more than the casino wanted. And because the machine had several theme variations, removing one version only made players demand the others. Former compliance staff said it plainly. Casinos can't hide Mr. Cashman completely. Players look for him. And that's what makes this machine dangerous for the house. It's fun, it's generous, and its randomness creates a level of excitement casinos can't fully control. But the next slot on this list caused an even bigger mistake. One the casino accidentally turned into free advertising for the exact machine they wanted people to avoid. Slot number 3, Zeus 2. If there's one machine that accidentally turned into free marketing for itself, it's Zeus 2. WMS never expected this game to become a thorn in the casino side, but its unusual reel setup created a perfect storm of player enthusiasm and management frustration. Zeus 2 uses the well-known colossal reels format, a standard 5x4 reel set on the left, and a towering 5x12 reel set on the right. This design dramatically increases the number of potential winning combinations, and according to former slot technicians, it produced consistent mid-range wins at a rate casinos never intended. The real danger comes from the bonus round. Stacked wilds can land across both reel sets, creating massive screen coverage. During free spins, it's not rare for the entire colossal reel to fill with wilds, which can turn even small bets into surprising payouts. Casino managers hated watching players chain together multiple big wins in a single session, especially during busy hours. And then came the infamous relocation incident. A former gaming director from a major East Coast property described a period when slot revenue dipped for an entire quarter. Upper management demanded an audit of underperforming games, and Zeus 2 showed up at the top of the list. The machines were popular with players, but weren't generating the profit per square foot that casinos expect from modern video slots. So they came up with a plan. Move all Zeus 2 machines to the farthest, least appealing corner of the casino, near a back entrance, away from restaurants, bathrooms, and the main floor. The idea was simple. Fewer players would bother walking that far, so play volume would drop naturally. Instead, the opposite happened. Within 2 weeks, that remote corner became the busiest spot in the entire building during evening hours. Word spread fast among informed players that all the Zeus 2 machines are grouped together now. It quickly became known as the Good Machines Corner, the player-friendly zone. People gathered, chatted, traded stories, waited for machines to open, and celebrated each other's bonuses. The social buzz drew even more players. Tourists, casual gamblers, anyone curious about the growing crowd. The casino had unintentionally created a neon-lit billboard pointing directly at the one machine they wanted to downplay. After 3 months of chaos, management reversed the decision and scattered the machines back across the floor. But the damage was done. Now every regular player in the property knew that Zeus 2 had something special in its math. According to the former director, someone in a meeting actually asked whether the casino could stop players from discussing Zeus 2 online legal, instantly shut that down. Today, Zeus 2 remains a lesson whispered inside the industry. If you try too hard to hide a good machine, you might just make everyone notice it. Slot number 4, Lucky Larry's Lobster Mania. Lucky Larry's Lobster Mania looks like a silly old-school slot with cartoon lobsters and bright colors, but former casino employees say it quietly became one of the most troublesome machines on the floor. Its bonuses trigger more often than many modern video slots, and the payouts, especially from the trap and buoy features, tend to stretch a player's bankroll much longer than the casino wants. For casual gamblers, that feels amazing. For management, it's a long-term revenue problem. One insider told a now-famous story about a retired math teacher who visited 3 times a week and played only Lobster Mania. For 6 months, she tracked every spin, bet size, hit frequency, bonus intervals. When she showed the data to the slot manager, it proved the machine was returning about 4% more than expected for that floor. They couldn't deny it. Her numbers were accurate. Casinos couldn't just remove the machine. It was too popular. Players actively searched for it. So management used quieter tactics, fewer Lobster Mania units on the floor, and more of them set to higher denomination versions that fewer people risk playing. According to ex-technicians, this was their way of preserving the machine without letting it become a drain on profit projections. Another former floor supervisor shared that on busy weekends, lines would form behind Lobster Mania machines, while newer, flashier slots sat empty nearby. It was embarrassing for executives trying to push high-volatility games that made more money per square foot. In other words, Lobster Mania wasn't broken. It was too fair, too entertaining, and too sticky for players who knew its patterns. And if that frustrated casino management, the next machine on our list pushed them into desperation mode with tactics that skirted the edge of ethics. Slot number 5, Top Dollar. Top Dollar is one of those deceptively simple machines that casinos wish players would forget existed. At first glance, it looks outdated. 3 mechanical reels, a retro-style bonus feature, and none of the modern animation or sound design casinos use to pull attention. But anyone who understands slot math knows exactly why this machine remains a quiet favorite among informed players. Compared to newer video slots, Top Dollar has a much more transparent pay table. Higher denomination versions especially deliver a long-term return that surpasses many flashy multi-line games sitting right next to it. Former employees say that whenever players discovered this advantage, Top Dollar machines suddenly stayed busy for hours, and management hated that. A former slot technician from the Midwest shared one of the most uncomfortable stories about this machine. In 2016, his casino wanted to remove their last 6 Top Dollar units. The official reason given to regulators was maintenance issues and difficulty obtaining parts. But internal emails told a different story. A group of local players had figured out that Top Dollar gave them better odds, and they were camping on those machines during peak hours. Tourists ignored the older slots, but these regulars knew exactly what they were doing. Management wanted the machines gone, not repaired, not relocated, but removed completely, so they told the technician to sabotage them. Not in a dramatic way, nothing illegal or dangerous, just enough to create a convincing trail of mechanical failure. He was instructed to use low-quality lubricants, delay repairs, and continuously mark the machines as awaiting parts. The machines would jam, glitch, slow down, or temporarily shut off. Over 6 months, the casino built a document trail showing that Top Dollar machines were down for repairs more than 40% of the time, a perfect excuse to remove them. The technician said he felt awful doing it, but he needed the job. 2 years later, after leaving the casino, he anonymously leaked the documentation to a gambling watchdog site. No formal investigation followed, but the story spread quickly within industry circles. Since then, casinos have become much more careful about claiming that older machines are being retired solely for maintenance reasons. What makes Top Dollar so dangerous for casinos is not just its math, it's the loyalty it builds. Players who love this machine don't switch easily. If a property removes it, those players go somewhere else. And management knows it. That's why Top Dollar machines still appear in many casinos today, but rarely in prominent locations. They're often placed near quieter hallways, back sections of the floor, or transitional areas where only the most dedicated players will find them. For the house, Top Dollar is the perfect example of a slot that isn't broken, isn't malfunctioning, and isn't outdated. It's simply too good for the average player, and that alone makes it a quiet threat. The next machine on our list caused even more financial frustration and involved a high roller who turned a casino's comp system completely inside out. Slot number 6, Cleopatra 2. Cleopatra 2 is one of those slots that casinos can never fully control. It's a well-known title, a recognizable brand, and a machine that experienced players actively seek out. And according to former casino employees, that popularity is exactly what makes it a long-term problem for management. Unlike many modern video slots, Cleopatra 2 can deliver genuinely strong returns during its free spins feature. The multiplier that starts at 1 times and increases with every consecutive win can climb to massive levels, sometimes up to 50 times. And because free spins can re-trigger, players occasionally chain together long, profitable bonus rounds that stretch their bankroll far longer than casinos like to see. One story from a tribal casino in Oklahoma shows just how complicated this machine became. A wealthy regular, a retired oil executive, was considered a million-dollar customer, someone who lost huge amounts every year casinos fight over players like him. But this man had a single rule. He would only play Cleopatra 2, nothing else. Over 18 months, his losses were shockingly small, around $50,000 total. But he was generating enormous comp credits by cycling large volumes of bets through a machine that didn't drain him quickly enough. After accounting for his hotel suites, meals, tickets, and premium perks, the casino realized they were losing money on one of their highest value players. Management held internal meetings. They debated removing Cleopatra 2, but they couldn't. If they took it away, they'd risk losing their biggest customer entirely. Someone even suggested installing tighter, look-alike versions of the machine, a proposal that was immediately shut down as illegal and disastrous by the compliance officer. In the end, they left the machines on the floor and quietly adjusted their comp strategy for other high rollers who favored Cleopatra 2. They didn't dare confront the whale directly. Former floor managers say this machine puts casinos in a strange bind. It's too famous to remove, too popular to hide, and too generous during bonuses to fully control players ask for it by name. And casinos know that if they eliminate it, they risk alienating loyal customers. Cleopatra 2 is proof of a truth casinos rarely admit out loud. Sometimes the machines that bring players in aren't the ones that make the most money. And if Cleopatra 2 caused management headaches, the next machine pushed some casinos into flat-out psychological warfare. Slot number 7, Stinkin' Rich. Stinkin' Rich is one of the few slot machines that push casinos into doing something they rarely admit: psychological warfare against their own players. According to former employees, this IGT classic triggered far more bonus rounds than management expected, making it surprisingly player-friendly compared to the tighter modern machines surrounding it. The two main bonuses, Trash for Cash and Keys to Riches, hit often enough to keep players engaged, and more importantly, to keep them on the machine longer than the casino wanted. It wasn't a jackpot machine. It wasn't volatile. It was simply fair, and that alone made it a target. One Las Vegas floor manager described the situation bluntly. Player demand was too high, and the math was too good. Management couldn't remove Stinkin' Rich. Regulars would complain immediately. They couldn't tighten the machine. Regulators wouldn't allow it, so they devised a workaround that didn't break any rules but made the machine noticeably less pleasant. They repositioned Stinkin' Rich machines directly next to the loudest penny slots in the entire building. These were intentionally obnoxious machines. Constant jingles, non-stop screaming sound effects, sharp celebratory tones every few seconds. Former staff said they even ran decibel tests to keep the noise levels just below violation thresholds. But the noise was only part of the plan. During the summer months, air conditioning vents were subtly redirected away from that corner. Players sitting there would start to feel warm and uncomfortable. Maintenance teams were told not to rush temperature complaints from that section. The goal wasn't to break the machine. The goal was to break the player's endurance. And for a while it worked. Session lengths reportedly dropped by about 30%. But Stinkin' Rich fans turned out to be extremely determined. Some brought personal minifans. Others wore lighter clothes or used noise-canceling headphones. A few treated it like a challenge, as if surviving the uncomfortable conditions somehow made the win sweeter. In the end, the casino couldn't fully suppress the machine's popularity. Stinkin' Rich remained a staple because people loved it, even when management quietly tried to push them toward tighter, flashier games nearby. This slot proved a simple truth. If a machine is generous and fun, players will fight through almost anything to keep playing it. And if that wasn't enough of a headache, the next machine started with a regulatory scandal that nearly cost a casino a massive fine. Slot number 8, China Shores. China Shores looks calm, colorful, and friendly. But according to former casino employees, this Konami classic consistently paid out more than management liked to admit. The machine's defining feature, action stacked symbols, allows the same symbol to appear in tall vertical blocks across multiple reels. When the pattern hits just right, wins can spike unexpectedly high, even without a major jackpot. Its volatility sits right in the sweet spot casinos fear. Not too high, not too low. Just enough steady wins to keep players feeling good and coming back. A former technician described China Shores as dangerous in the long run, not because it breaks rules, but because its design naturally produces satisfying sessions where players walk away feeling lucky rather than drained. But the real problem for casinos began when one regional property tried something they thought they could get away with. A data-savvy regular, a software engineer by trade, had been tracking his China Shores sessions in a detailed spreadsheet for over a year. Spin counts, bonus frequency, average return 1 month. He noticed the machine's behavior changed dramatically. Bonuses dropped. Session lengths shrank. Something was off. He filed a complaint with gaming regulators. What happened next became casino legend. Investigators discovered that a senior executive had quietly instructed a slot technician to modify the internal chip settings, tightening the machine without regulatory approval. The logs on the logic board confirmed the unauthorized changes. The casino was hit with a $250,000 fine. The executive was dismissed. The technician lost his license, and China Shores earned a reputation. After that scandal, no casino dared touch the machine's math again. Regulators kept an eye on it. Players trusted it even more, and management hated that they had lost control. China Shores became one of the rare slots with a kind of protective shield around it. Too risky to manipulate, too well known to remove, and too player-friendly for comfort, as one former floor supervisor put it. Once players know a machine is fair, you can't make it unfair without consequences. And that sets the stage perfectly for the 9th and final machine, a game that caused a full-scale revolt when a casino tried to eliminate it for good. Slot number 9, Kronos. Kronos is one of those machines that doesn't just attract players, it builds a following. According to former casino employees, this WMS classic combines the appeal of colossal reels with bonus mechanics that hit often enough to keep players loyal. And loyalty, ironically, is exactly what caused casinos so many problems. Kronos works similarly to Zeus 2, but with its own twist. The free spins bonus can re-trigger multiple times, creating long, extended sessions where players gradually build impressive returns without ever hitting a giant jackpot. Casinos call this slow bleed risk, when a machine lets players stay alive too long, making them feel satisfied while generating less revenue than expected. Former floor supervisors describe Kronos players as some of the most consistent regulars on the floor. Same faces, same machines, same hours week after week. And then came the incident that nearly turned into a PR disaster. In 2018, a large casino in the Southwest planned a major renovation. To make room for new high-volatility games, management quietly decided to remove every Kronos machine from the property. The official reason: modernization and updated player preferences. But word leaked out. A slot attendant mentioned the plan to a longtime regular who posted it in a private Facebook group of around 200 local slot enthusiasts. Within 2 days, players began arriving specifically to play Kronos one last time. Crowds formed. The floor was packed. But everyone was gathered around the very machines the casino wanted to eliminate. Accounting noticed the spike immediately. The building was full, but revenue wasn't matching the traffic. People were playing too many generous machines. Then came the breaking point. Someone organized a joking Kronos funeral. Players showed up dressed in black, took photos with the machines, and filled social media with posts implying the casino was removing all the good slots. Management panicked. Executives realized they were on the verge of alienating their most loyal local players, the ones who visited multiple times per week and spent money on restaurants, bars, entertainment, and other gaming removing Chronos could cost far more than it saved. So the plan was reversed. Chronos machines stayed, just moved to quieter corners. Publicly, the casino called it responding to popular demand. Privately, internal documents admitted the real reason. Losing those players would damage long-term revenue and community reputation. Inside the industry, the Chronos incident became a case study. Some machines don't just earn money, they earn trust, and casinos ignore player trust at their own risk. After going through all 9 machines, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Casinos don't fear broken slots, they fear fair ones. Each machine on this list has a pattern casinos can't fully control. Some pay out more often than executives expected. Some build loyal communities of players who refuse to switch. Others create sessions that last too long, feel too good, or return too much value for the money spent. And here's the part casinos never say out loud. Even when a machine technically earns less, it can become more valuable in ways the spreadsheets don't measure. It brings people in. It keeps regulars happy. It builds trust. Casinos try to hide these machines in corners, scatter them across the floor, or bury them far from the most profitable zones. But the players who know always find them. And once a machine gains a reputation for fairness, there's no marketing campaign big enough to bury that knowledge again. This entire list proves something every slot player should understand. The best machines aren't the ones casinos advertise. They're the ones casinos hope you walk past. So next time you're on a casino floor, pay attention to the quiet areas. The older machines, the ones with a crowd around them for no obvious reason, those are usually the game's management wishes they could remove, but can't. If this breakdown opened your eyes to how casino floors really work, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves slots as much as you do. Because the truth is simple, casinos have their secrets, but now you know 9 of the biggest ones.